Aegis actual. Everyone ready? Find the target, arm the bomb.
Romeo 2, I'm ready. Eyes on target.
Alpha 4, had some trouble, but I'm ready.
Copy that, Alpha 4. Aegis actual to Mike 2. You ready? Hey, you copy?
Here's Mike.
Got some hostiles in the area, but I'm safe and sound. Think Yuri has some issues though.
Yuri, are you ready?
Есть совмещение.
Are you ready?
Team 17 published things like Overcooked for a long time, decided to buy Hell Let Loose a couple of years back now. And it, has been a little bit hit and miss, let's just say that. But they are working on a new FPS. Okay, I say they are. They're publishing a new FPS, and a new development studio, Grassroots Studio, have Project Wraith on the go. I thought it was so exciting, I just wanted to give you guys a look at it. If you're looking for a game that blends hardcore realism with arcade-style fun, then sit tight, because I think this game has something for everybody. As always, I have no affiliation with the titles, but if I find something that excites me, I kind of just want to talk about it. And there's some decent gameplay, screenshots, and trailers that we've had so far that is really ramping up my excitement. Anything that tries to create more hardcore, realistic simulators, especially in the FPS genre, well, that's what I love. The game is a full multiplayer FPS that is boasting, well, the golden era. Zero anti-consumer nonsense, focusing purely on infantry combat and expecting constant action. The reason that this is Grassroots Studio is because, well, they're trying to bring people to the grassroots of what they loved about first-person shooters in the first place. The game has two different ways to play, casual or soft mode. Of course, your soft mode is what you'd expect. It's like a warm hug from your grandma. But except instead of cookies, you get regenerating health, stamina, and a nice HUD that is basically your best mate. Medics can revive you, and teammates are easy to identify. The overall experience will be way more forgiving and perfect if you just want to relax and shoot bad guys without breaking a sweat. But if you're the kind of player that thinks a warm hug is for the weak, then hardcore or Wraith mode, hence the name, is where you want to be. This mode is brutal, and I do mean brutal. Incoming damage is cranked up. Your health and stamina regeneration is way slower, and your HUD, well, it's completely gone. Your very typical hardcore shooter. Think of it a little bit like Insurgency in terms of you don't know if you've got a kill until you actually go and check the body and then get a sniper shot in the back of your skull. Relying on visual indication for everything, and of course, complete communication and teamwork within the players surrounding you. Remember, there's no second chances. One live game modes. That's where the fun is at. So let's talk a little bit about those gamers that Project Wraith has. And as trying to be a grassroots FPS title, it's going to have all your favorites. We're talking team deathmatch, where if you just want to blow off steam, that's kind of the way to go. Area defense, when you're in the mood to hunker down and hold a fort, this is what you're going to have to do if you kind of like a hostage extraction. It's kind of self-explanatory in the name, adding a little bit of drama to your missions and making sure you don't shoot innocent people, or being able to capture the flag, because nothing says I'm better than you than stealing their pride and joy. There are other game modes like Domination, Gun Game, Arena Mode, Search and Destroy, and your 1v1 and 2v2 stuff. But this is pretty much as old school FPS as you can get. Think of your very early Call of Duty games. Well, if you enjoyed that, you're going to be in for something a little bit fun, but with a little bit more of a hardcore twist to it. So let's talk about weapons. What is the point of all these game modes if you don't have the right tools for the job? It's going to launch with an arsenal of over 60 weapons. That's right. Yeah, that is quite a lot. Whether you're into sniping, spraying, or something in between, there's a weapon for pretty much every playstyle. And then you've got customizations within each of those weapons as well. And it's going to go pretty deep, adding in your own muzzle devices, sights, gadgets, camos, perks, what you could imagine. As soon as you hear the word camos, I know you have that reflex response of, oh god, they're going to be selling some aesthetic camos and we're going to end up with CSGO all over again. Well, we'll get onto that in a little bit, but I think you might be happy to hear the route that these devs are going in. Going back to customization, though, you can tweak your weapon handling to perfection. If you're tired of the same old loadout systems, well, Project Wraith is going to offer unlimited preset possibilities, and having the ability to have 6 favorite slots for quick access with weapons, your loadout is truly your own. But the fun doesn't stop there. There's also going to be options with your operator, because this is going to be an operator-based FPS with primary, secondary, melee weapons, throwables, whether offensive, defensive, or tactical, with gadgets, stimulants, class resupply boxes, gear, camouflage, patches, perks, special gestures, even night vision. You can pretty much do whatever you want within this game, and all of it is going to be completely included in said purchase price. They have said time and time again, there's going to be no loot boxes. That's right, completely zero. This game is not about squeezing every last penny out of you. It's about offering a fair, enjoyable experience that takes you back to the early days of FPS games. There's supposedly going to be regular patches and content updates, all for free within it as well, and I'm so happy to hear it. There seems to be a lot of content. You'll be fighting some of the most interesting and dangerous places on Earth, from Volga Air Base in Russia to the Florence Station in the Czech Republic. Even a luxury mall in Oman that, I mean, admittedly has seen some better days. Don't get too comfortable though, because there is going to be complete dynamic weather systems to each map. So every time you jump in, it's going to offer something kind of unique to the last time, meaning that these locations can change on the fly, keeping you on your toes. Project Wraith is really priding itself on being gritty and atmospheric. Whilst it is bringing us back to the old days of FPS titles, I think it's going to add in what is popular now, which is your squads, your Delta forces, your insurgencies, your armors, having visually authentic designs for weapons and animations, making you feel like you're immersed right in the thick of this fast-paced action. The damage model is realistic too, rewarding headshots and making sure that every bullet counts. Sound design is top notch. From what we've seen with the small bits of gameplay and trailers, every gunshot, every footstep, every rustle is important because, well, with this being an intense action title, being able to communicate with your team is one thing, but being able to spot enemies is a completely new ball game. And having that as accurate as possible in terms of your sound design and visuals is so important for audio cues. And I'm so glad that this is something that they are very aware that they have to focus on. I think Project Wraith is really setting itself up to be a great balance between having a casual player looking for some fun, or even if you're into more of the hardcore stuff, you're going to find it within this title. So far, we don't have any sort of release date. It is still sitting on Steam, coming soon, which is always a little bit disappointing, and I know that can turn off a lot of people. But there's still been a good amount of developer blogs, updates, and things coming out about the title, and it all seems like it's going to be great, right? Well, I have one issue, and that's the publisher. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy Team 17, and I've even been to events where they've hosted and everybody that I've spoken to are great. But the fact that they've handled the one FPS that they do have released right now, Hell Let Loose, very poorly from a publisher standpoint, whether it's pushing in updates or content when base games haven't been up to scratch, or even adding in things like extra DLCs for $15 that only work on certain maps, is insane. All the stuff that's been wrong with Hell Let Loose hasn't been from a developer standpoint, but actually has been from the management and the upper management. And, well, they're the guys that will be publishing Project Wraith. So, sure, we can be excited about a new title coming to the FPS genre, but there's still a lot of skepticism to be had, and I don't think, well, they should be let off so easy.